Hello. This is a quick orientation to the climate equity and education map provided by GenThrive. So here we are on ArcGIS, an Esri product, and we are looking at the map as it originally sort of appears when you open up the tool. And you can see that we already have some of the data layers activated. Now, if you want to see what those are, you'll notice that on the left-hand side on the bar here, there are a few icons. If you click on one of them, the schoolhouse, for example, you will see the layers, the layer list appear. We have subcategories within three major categories. We have education as the schoolhouse, we have environment as the planet, and we have community as the icon of the people. Now, under education, the subcategories are schools, service providers, and EE access and need, which means environmental education access and need. Each of these layers has three dots next to it. If you want to know where something came from, you can click on those dots. You can scroll down and you'll see show item details. That will tell you where the data set came from. And so you can notice like this is LEED certified K-12 schools. We can click on this and all of these green diamonds will pop up. You can turn them off. You can turn on all K-12 schools. Those are gray dots. The larger the data set, the longer or slower it will take to populate that data set sometimes, depending on your internet connection and the speed of Esri at that moment and ArcGIS. You'll notice layers for service providers that have to, some of them are older, but we kept them in here as a demonstration. So this is demonstrating program sites, environmental education program sites where they were active on campuses in 1819. You'll also notice that we have the various education service centers color-coded by the density of environmental education programs. So the Austin and Houston area you can see in San Antonio have quite a few programs, so they're darker. And the way that you can tell what all these colors and symbols mean is by going to the legend, which are these three lines right here. So anything you have activated, you'll see is in the legend. But if you don't have something activated yet, you can also just click on the item itself, the layer itself, and beneath it, it will tell you what illustrations and symbology is associated with that data layer. So if you want to turn on drought intensity, you check the box and that will pop up. And you can see that this is actually one of the data layers that is national. Most of our data sets are national, a lot of them. Some of them we've deactivated the information for other states, but we can activate it again just so that things load a little bit faster. So under environment, the subcategories are climate risks. So we have the drought, which I showed you, the hurricanes, tornado tracks, we have storm surge. We also have a subcategory called pollutants, which includes hazardous waste, brownfields. And something to notice here, you see how busy it's getting. You can go back over to the education section. We can turn things off. So let's turn off the Education Service Center density. Let's turn off the headquarters of the organizations. And that just makes things easier to look at. But when you see one of these specific sites, you can click on it and it'll tell you a bit of information about that particular site. We have air quality conditions. One thing to note is that we have, you'll notice in the layers that sometimes things are grayed out, like they're not active. And what that means is that you're not able to look at the impaired waters here, for example, because you're zoomed out too far. This is a very local specific data set. It's indicating which creeks in your neighborhood are polluted. So you will notice that if you're zoomed far out at the state level, you're not going to be able to see some of these things. Vice versa, if you're zoomed in very close to a neighborhood, you're not going to see statewide data sets sometimes. Or they might just look a little funny because you're not seeing the bigger picture. So it's just something to keep in mind. Here, power plants, you click on it and you can see there's lots of different power plants and lots of different symbols. And you can click on it itself and it populates. And then under the people, we have demographics and equity, community health, voting patterns and infrastructure, which includes land management. And under demographics and equity, just something to note is a lot of these are double data sets because we have some of them that activate at the county level, which you can see from the state. And then we have some that activate at the tract level, which means you need to be very close, zoomed into a neighborhood for those ones to populate. All right, that one's taking slow to load, but if you want to hide this again, you just hit these two arrows and it goes away. If you want to activate it once again, you hit any of these little buttons and the whole thing pops up.